Trump. I'm sorry, Cory Booker. Trump. SCOTUS. Trump.
Are you thinking of a plot of a film? Do you think this is about saving the world? Is Nicolas Cage involved at all? I'm curious, or perhaps some other, leading actor for the time period. What exactly makes you want to reopen Alcatraz? What benefit will this have to anyone besides maybe you getting to live out some of your childish fantasies of seeing Snake take over? I don't know. Either way, this is weird. And now apparently John Voight is telling him to do tariffs on movies. The thing is, the U.S., if you didn't know it, it makes a lot of movies in other countries because of the tax breaks that those countries incentivize you to do. So you make movies there because it's going to make a lot of jobs for like the movie industry in Germany, for example. If an American film comes there, and then there's going to be people, there's caterers, there's food, there's places that need to stay, there's local equipment that needs to be rented, there's going to be local people and teams that need to be hired. So it creates a lot of jobs, and so there's incentivizations in the form of tax breaks for films, and so American movies will go film in Canada or in the UK or in Germany or something like that because of the tax incentives that they get, and that it creates more jobs domestically. And then the movie goes back to America for release. I'm just wondering if that suddenly is now going to completely fucked by the Trump movie tariff, whatever the fuck this is.
Act fairly, then they would ban Brian Tyler Cohen and David Pakman instantly.
Oh, shots
Over
fired.
the past 7 years, there have been serious scandals on YouTube pertaining to algorithmic manipulation of content. But something interesting happens when it overlaps with politics. YouTube gets scared to take down liberal politics, but has no problem taking down conservatives.
Whoa.
There have been many individuals on YouTube who get flagged relentlessly and suspended and banned for their political opinions.
I'm one of them.
Strangely, liberals never seem to, despite the fact that they seem to...
I guess that's true. I'm not a liberal, so I don't fall under that. But lefties sure do. Lefties get banned and their channels taken down. It happens all the time. False flagging attacks? Oh, yeah. I'm very familiar with it.
Break all of the same rules that YouTube claims they're enforcing against. Notably, algorithmic manipulation of content. Recently, there was a big story about AI-generated Trump videos that were really weird. It was weird stories. One that went viral recently was that Carolyn Levitt was having a debate with someone and insulting a journalist. I can't remember exactly what. Someone fabricated this content. Now, admittedly, fabricating AI content is very different from attacking the algorithm with a singular content purpose. But I will tell you this. Without blowing up anybody privately, I know some comedians who got banned for focusing on one particular dark issue. It wasn't overtly political. It didn't break the rules explicitly, but YouTube said it broke the rules because it was promoting content that was detrimental to the audience. That is, in several instances, people for political reasons have been banned. Now, to be fair, I don't want David Pakman banned or Brian Tyler Cohen banned or Luke Beasley or many of these liberal personalities banned. I want them to...
You might want to tell, I don't know, your YouTube editor. It does say YouTube should ban Brian Tyler Cohen, David Pakman for manipulating the algorithm with Trump slop. But you're just saying if they were to follow through, but you don't want that personally. No, because you're better than that. Yeah, you're a man of principle, a man of taste, of beanie, and then you don't want them to have to be kicked off, but they should be. So that's different, all right?
Express their opinions, but I do believe that YouTube should not allow this degree of algorithmic manipulation that these guys are engaged in. Of course.
So you do want them banned. Or you don't want them banned, but you want a thing to happen to them. Maybe it rhymes with sand. Yeah.
The challenge is because they're targeting Trump, they let it go. Take a look at this story from Wired. Dozens of YouTube channels are showing AI-generated cartoon gore and fetish content. Yep.
Brian, why would you do this?
A Wired investigation found that dozens of YouTube channels are using generative AI to depict cartoon cats and minions being beaten, starved, and sexualized, sparking fears of a new Elsagate wave. We covered this on Timcast IRL just a few days ago. We have this from Mashable, 2017. Spider-Man versus Elsa videos have taken over YouTube, and it's so confusing. What is going on? You can see the videos were taken down. This is where things get interesting. If YouTube were to adhere to their own policies, they would ban Brian Tyler Cohen and David Pakman. Let me show you why.
Okay.
I know you guys are saying, Tim, you've been talking about this a lot, but I really do think we've got an Elsagate phenomenon going on with these political actors. Brian Tyler Cohen does have a big channel. Congratulations. He gets lots of views. He gets 200,000 on one video, 200 on this one, 400 on this one, 300, 100, 230, 500, a lot of views, big channel. He's often featured on the default front page for people who are not subscribed to his channel.
But I guess I have to do a little bit of internet sleuthing in history here. Elsagate, derived from the term Elsa and gate, is controversy surrounding videos on YouTube and YouTube Kids that were labeled as child-friendly but contained themes considered inappropriate for children. These videos often featured fictional characters from family-oriented media, sometimes via crossovers, without legal permission. The controversy also included channels that focused on real-life children, such as Toy Freaks, that raised concern about the possible child abuse that was taking place. Most videos in this category were produced either from live action or flash animation, but some used claymation or computer-generated imagery. The videos sometimes tagged in such ways to circumvent YouTube's child safety algorithms and appeared on YouTube Kids. These videos were difficult to moderate due to the large scale of YouTube. In order to capture search results and attract attention from users, their buzzwords, title, and descriptions feature the names of fictional characters, as well as keywords such as education, learn colors, and nursery rhymes. They also included automatically placed commercials, making them lucrative to their own owners on YouTube. Public awareness of the phenomenon grew in 2017. That year, after reports on child safety on YouTube and several media outlets, YouTube adopted stricter guidelines regarding children's content. In late November, the platform deleted channels and videos falling into the Elsagate category, as well as other amounts of inappropriate videos. Now, how that's related to what David Pakman and Brian Taylor Cohen have been doing, we're about to learn.
Now, what do you notice? Let's go through his video. Trump. I'm sorry, Cory Booker. Trump. SCOTUS. Trump. You get the point. It looks like 9 out of 10 videos are literally just Trump humiliated. Trump, White House rocked. Major bad news for Trump and Republicans. Trump's worst nightmare. Trump appointed.
Yeah, he's a pundit. That's what he does for a living. I think the only difference between the two of you is that he would like openly admit that he's anti-Trump, whereas you wouldn't admit that you're pro.
Judge, Trump scorched earth. Oh, yeah? What was ban-worthy about the Spider-Man Elsa videos? I'm going to say it again. These were videos where people would dress up like Spider-Man and people would dress up like Elsa and the Joker and they'd run around. That's it. The reason YouTube started taking these things down was that it was taking over YouTube and destroying the experience. YouTube had no problem saying, well, you're not explicitly breaking the rules as we've defined.
What, did you even like look this up before you started? I mean, I know the answer to that, but that doesn't seem to be what the controversy was around. Just harmless videos of people just running around in circles as characters, but it destroyed the algorithm. I mean, it's more complex than that. I think one of the big problems was that YouTube offers two very distinct services. One of them is YouTube Kids, specifically catered towards children, for parents who do not want to have to worry about whether or not a video is going to feature someone inappropriate, say in a beanie, saying really fucked up and racist shit. So what they can do is they can go on YouTube Kids, and all the videos are child approved. They're not really for, you know, anything over a certain age, and that every video is going to be like songs and singing and nursery rhymes and stuff like that, which, again, you know, you should still be pretty much looking after what your kids are watching, because you don't know for sure if every rabbit hole they go down. But for the most part, the idea is that it's a much more safe browsing experience for a child, for a parent to feel safe, and I'll just hand my iPod over to you for 20 minutes while I do something I need to do it, so distract yourself, and then you're going to do, like, you know, Baby Shark or the 5-finger dance or all that stuff for hours, and then we go back to me taking it away from you, and that's that. But if I hand that over to you and other videos have seeped into the child algorithm, well, then that could be a big problem if it's got the same kind of titles that like children's content would have. So YouTube, as a response to a lot of this, I think is where you see the inception of that. Any video you upload to YouTube now, there's a question you have to answer. Is this or is this not appropriate for children? Like, there's a just yes, no, you have to answer every time you upload a video now.
Them, you're violating the spirit of YouTube by spam blasting the same thing over and over and over again. Here's David Pakman.
Wait, that's the reach? The reach is that these are fucking videos. Yeah, he's very centered on Trump. That most libs are. This is how libs operate. How is that the same as flooding child content into the algorithm for children, or using AI-generated content of stuff that is wildly inappropriate, such as harm to animals or child sexual abuse materials? How's it? See, look at this. They have so many videos on Trump that is technically spamming. And in this case, spamming created a controversy, ergo, they are the same thing. And yet they get away with it. They're allowed to make 6, 7 videos on Trump, 8 even, maybe a 9th. How is that fair?
Trump, disoriented Trump. It's like the third time I've shown you this stuff. But going over the new Elsagate phenomenon, when I saw this story from Wired, I couldn't help but realize
I couldn't help but make up wild connections between the two in order to generate some content right now. Like, I hate Tim Pool and all his empires of bigotry, but if I saw this headline, I wouldn't immediately be like, how can I slander Tim Pool with this? How can I make this about Tim? Dozens of YouTube channels are showing AI-generated cartoon gore and fetish content. Just gotta be a reach, you know? A reach so wide that maybe I'm not able to bend over, and I basically can't touch my own beanie.
Elsagate isn't the only thing.
Oh.
Back in 2017, what I noticed was the reason we can call out these videos, like this one. This is from a channel called Toys in Japan.
Oh no. Hitler and Catwoman go to the toilet and Fartfinger family. Nursery rhymes in 3D. The animation. Thanks, Toys in Japan. So, okay, so there's one piece of the puzzle that we've been ignoring this whole time, and it has to be stated. There is a overwhelmingly outrageous surplus of content automatically generated for children that is usually coming out of a number of countries, and unfortunately it has flooded the gates. As soon as you basically set up what's an audience that we can basically make computer-generated content for that's very simple, repetitive, and we just need to like basically replace things, right? Like, so what if we had a song, say the 5-finger song, which is about counting your own fingers. This is 1, this is 2, and then all we did is set up a computer to pump out 1,000 videos with this song and just replace random objects, right? So in one of them, it'll be a can of soup singing about a waffle. And the next one, it'll be a hamster singing about a pool, right? And then there'll just be random shit constantly, just like in this one, it's going to be, you know, random things singing about another random thing. Eventually, when they output thousands, 10,000, 100,000 of these slop videos, right? One of the items in there might be horrifyingly inappropriate, such as Hitler. And so, like, you might have a combination. This just so happened to land on this one. I don't know. I can't say. I'm not aware of Toys in Japan or their catalog or the things that they've been working on. But in terms of Hitler, Catwoman, Go to Toilet, and Fartfinger family, that could be what you're witnessing here. I don't know how this is related, again, at all to David Pakman or Brian Taylor Cohen. I don't know how they get pulled into this so far. The only connection that Tim has made is that they produce a lot of content about Trump, which I guess he's trying to say is the same as flooding the zone.
The original videos were all deleted, but they did try to re-upload them and they failed. Why? YouTube stopped allowing it. So this video has Hitler and Catwoman using the toilet with toilet noises while in the nursery rhyme.
All right. This is where we are. What does this have to do with David Pakman or Brian Taylor Cohen? What? I don't think they were involved in the production of this, Tim. I don't think they're not part of the creative team. All right, they had zero input whatsoever into the process behind Hitler, Catwoman, Go to the Toilet, and Fartfinger family.
Why? The algorithm was promoting all this stuff.
Right.
So when we're looking at content like this, and we can see that spam blast.
How did you find this? It's by a nothing channel. Toys in Japan. It doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers. This has like under 5K views. You had to have found this link to you somewhere else.
Blasting weird, creepy content to children is bad for us. YouTube says, stop promoting it, stop showing it, shut it down. But hold on.
Wait, you understand why, right? That because they cannot control the style of the content when it's completely computer generated, that creates a problem. Because they do, yes, want to restrict the kind of things that children are exposed to on their child-only version of the platform. That's totally different than David Pakman and Brian Taylor Cohen make a lot of videos about Trump. These are totally, they're not putting in their videos that their videos are appropriate for children. They're not uploading to the children's section.
The rules. It didn't say you can't show Hitler on a toilet making fart noises. The problem was the platform was being dominated by this psychotic, deranged, obsessive content. Here's the problem. Brian Tyler Cohen gets 196 million views on his channel. That's more than Joe Rogan gets. Clearly, something is insane when a dude is spam blasting nothing but Trump, 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 over and over and over.
What is... Oh, man. This has got to be one of his biggest reaches. Like, I think that I've ever seen on the show. Whereas it's like, if you want to criticize the man for being kind of hyper-focused on one individual, you could do that. And there's your video. But that's not as fun as YouTube should ban him Because at the end of the day, look, he's doing the same thing that a lot of these illegal sites that were making Hitler pooping videos with Spider-Man and Catwoman were doing, right? Like not exactly the same or at all related or even comparable. That one of them is actually just him talking about a public figure, the president of the United States, arguably, probably one of the, if not the most famous human being on the planet. And the other is just AI-driven content slop for children, some of which may not be age appropriate because of the output, the amount of stuff that the slop is generating.
Again, this is no different than Elsagate. The problem is
farting, not pooping. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll take the L on that one. I'm not reporting properly on this.
We as adults focus on the president. We can't see it. It is normal for us to talk about the president. So if you're on the front page of YouTube and you see a video about Trump, you might watch it. But if you actually go to the dude's channel, you can see that what he is doing is 100% identical to Elsagate. He is spam blasting long form videos to manipulate the algorithm and get lots of views. That is against the rules.
What are you talking about? None of this makes sense. Are Tim Pool fans buying this? Is this enough? Is this elusive enough connection where someone watching this is like, holy shit, he's right. Brian Taylor Cohen is basically doing the same thing as Elsagate. He's intentionally generating computer-generated content to flood the zone with political stuff about Trump that is accidentally going into the YouTube kids section and showing kids videos of Trump farting and pooping. Is that where the connection is? Do you got any other evidence besides
MAGA campaign? I don't know if that one's Trump. So you've got Trump, not Trump. So let's just say 2 videos, 1, Trump.
Making a lot of videos on Trump is not the same. Anyone can do that. That doesn't violate TOS. There's video, like there's channel. Have you seen Cristo Vilas? Like every single video he has is on Trump. There's tons of channels that cover Trump a shit ton. That's not breaking the TOS.
Trump. He's got a main show, but Trump. MAGA laughed at Trump. He does do a lot of Trump, but I'm going to give him this respect. The degree to which we allow people to talk about the president or not, you know, what am I going to say? He is the president. I talk about Trump quite a bit. I think it's fair as long as you're covering the news, Trump dominates the news. But when I look at David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen explicitly, it's clear they're manipulating the algorithm by creating a political version of Elsagate. That's it.
What are you talking about? I think I can file this one under too stupid for Brian or David to respond to. I mean, maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know if I'd take time out of my day to be like, apparently we're embroiled in a massive controversy where we are intentionally manipulating the YouTube algorithm in the same way that a bunch of these slop child channels used to, even though we're not putting any of our content in the kids section, even though it's not computer generated, even though it's just basically talking head responses to things Trump is doing. Okay, well, that's the one on that. I want to see what his problem with GTA 6 is.
News that is surprising to no one. Grand Theft Auto 6 is being delayed to May 2026. You know, I saw this.
Who's going to guess it's because of woke? I bet it's woke. I bet woke is involved somehow. It's got to be. It can't just be, the poor working conditions, the crunch, the development time, just the sheer scale of Grand Theft Auto games and Rockstar development cycles that they actually require huge amounts of time to complete and vast amounts of resources, billions and billions of dollars kind of shit.
Story, and it made me feel bad for Gen Z because they don't understand just how bad they have it relative to us millennials. Because I remember back when I was a kid, games came out like clockwork, and I got the data to back it up. Don't take my word for it. These kids playing GTA 5, they've been playing GTA 5 now for 12 years with no game coming out. Now, of course, there's always a bigger picture here. It's not just that GTA 6 is being delayed, which we will read about. It's that culture is stagnating in sad ways. This weekend, I was talking about Katy Perry and Beyonce. You know, they're struggling to sell tickets to their big stadium concerts. Katy Perry's last album bombed. Beyonce is selling tickets for the price of a McDonald's cheeseburger. That was the news. Now, some have come out and said, yes, but...
Wait, what? Where can I go? I will definitely buy tickets and travel because I'll save money in the flight alone. Beyonce tickets, McDonald's cheeseburger. I'm going to guess it's a single isolated story that has now been turned. 7 days ago, according to AS... a social media account tries to start beef with Beyonce over low ticket prices. Meanwhile, she's already been paid. The International Superstars Renaissance Tour has been our most successful from a financial standpoint, generating more than $500 million, according to Live Nation Entertainment. But last week, PopHub accused the singer, so it's a parody of Pornhub called PopHub, gotcha, of failing to capture the attention of fans, pointing to a ticket price as low as $20, which happens to be lower than the price of a McDonald's Minecraft meal in some areas. Wait, it's $20 for a McDonald's meal? Jesus. Due to slow demand, Beyonce's Cowboy Carter Tour tickets, 20, are now cheaper than McDonald's Minecraft meal. Since then, the tickets have increased in price, but Yahoo News pointed out the tickets on sale for 20 were being resold, which means that Beyonce and the ticket vendor had already been paid when the original ticket was sold. The tickets are available through verified sellers on Ticketmaster, a company that received a lot of credit, blah, 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 blah. After selling off the tickets at $20, getting them away through the different raffles, closing stadium areas, reaccommodating seats, it seems to be a full packed in Atlanta. What? In California, they're selling for $45. However, when one examines tour dates, the tickets are significantly higher. Ticket shows in Atlanta costing above $100. I still, for $45, that seems really cheap to see Beyonce. But also, it's absurd that you took this, which is a story of a dude who was selling a used ticket to a concert and then said it like it was a matter of fact. Just being like, yeah, I mean, Beyonce and her tour are in shambles. Most profitable live tour of her entire history. But yeah, apparently there's just one example of the ticket prices are cheaper than a McDonald's Happy Meal. But it wasn't even a McDonald's Happy Meal. It was a Minecraft meal, which I didn't know was $20 fucking. I've been boycotting McDonald's for so long that I haven't eaten there long enough to. When did the McDonald's meals hit the 25s? Like, Jesus Christ.
Tim, Sabrina Carpenter, she's selling out her show, yes, but in arenas, not stadiums. Still good. But she's pulling in between 10 to 20,000 seats. Hey, that's really good. Don't get me wrong. But Metallica used to sell out like 70, 80,000 seat stadiums. Actually, They still do. They just played a 60,000 person stadium the other night. And they had that famous show in Russia with 1 million people.
Wow.
Culture stagnating, man.
Whoa.
And I was reading this post on Reddit where some Zoomer was saying...
This makes no sense terms. Like, if you're measuring culture based on the ticket sales for concerts, then we are currently at like the cultural zenith where people are making more money from live shows than ever before, in large part due to just the exploitation of companies like Live Nation. But, how many artists do you need in a row having sold out stadium tours for you to suddenly be like, oh, well, I mean, the culture stagnated because one time Metallica did play for 1 million people.
That they're nostalgic for a time that doesn't exist anymore. They see all this media, they see everything from the 90s, and I'm telling you what's going to happen and why this story about GTA 6 is so important. Now, for many of you, some of you came here and you're just like, bro, just tell me about the video game because I want to know when I can play it. And we'll get into that like literally right now. Just want to say real quick, then we're going to talk about why culture is stagnating and why this is bad news for Zoomers and Gen Alpha. I'm worried about you guys.
Taylor Swift's Eras Tour was the first to collect $1 billion in 2023, although Coldplay's Music of the Spheres World Tour became the first to officially report that number in 2024. The Eras Tour concluded with $2.07 billion, becoming the first tour to reach $2 billion in history. I think a lot of people are going to go see these shows. Like, people are still going to go see Taylor Swift, Yeah, Beyonce's Renaissance Tour is the highest profit of her entire career.
Who play one game, you're going to play GTA, Fortnite, and Minecraft. They play one game in 1 million different iterations, living in that one world. Here's how it was when I was a kid. Right now in our Boonies HQ trailer, which is outside the skate park, I bought an N64, and I got a console that plays Sega Genesis, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo. And I bought like 15 games. Back in the day when I was a kid, we would go out. There was a place called Farmore. It's like a farm.
How is this at all comparable? Like, cool. You bought an emulation device that plays multiple different cartridges or ROMs. Yeah, it's just the technology was magical when I was a kid. You bought these devices. Like, wait, that's not when you were a kid. Like, it's not at the peak of the wars between Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo that someone was buying the multiple console ROM emulator station. We just had so many options. You could play like 20 different systems on one console. I mean, video games back then, they were different and they were just cool, man. Now you got to wait so long for a game to come out.
See, I barely remember what it was. I don't think they exist anymore. Pretty sure they don't. And they had a rental section for video games for NES cartridges. And the amount of games was nuts. I remember I'd go to like a friend's house and we'd have a rack of all these crazy games. Now, here's the thing. You might be saying, Tim, there's more games than ever. Yeah, but they're like mobile, one-off, overly simple. It's not the same thing.
There's a fuck ton of indie games that if you have been burnt out on AAA titles, I highly recommend checking them out. There's a lot of really good ones. Obviously, people will point to things like Celeste, a beautiful game, but there's a lot of indie titles that come out every single year that are awesome. And one thing you didn't have when I was a lad was subscription services that you do now, where people can basically pay a certain amount of money for, say, the Xbox One or the PlayStation Plus one, and then you get access to like hundreds of games in a catalog, to the point where like there's more games that get released in those subscription services now than there is like time to play them, right?
So when we're looking at these big AAAs, they're very similar to how we got releases of like, say, Mario 64.
But the Indies are all about gays and women. True. Yeah, if you want to avoid that, if you have to play as a straight white male space marine who's super cis and super straight and very hetero, then you might have to wait until the next remake of Dead Space comes out.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.